Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Cybersecurity Awareness Month, which takes place every October now in its 19th year, is a collaboration between government and private industry to raise awareness about digital security and empower everyone to protect their personal data from digital forms of crime. Joining me for this segment, we have Toph Whitmore. He's Industry Director of Cybersecurity at Frost & Sullivan. It's great to have you with us, Toph. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thanks, Jill. Nice to join you.
It seems like there's an epidemic of cyber attacks and data breaches. Why is that? What continues to cause this?
Well, the reality is that there is. They get a lot of press, and there's kind of three key components to it. The first thing, and we all know this, is that the nature of work has evolved. The modern enterprise is cloud first. It's device agnostic, and thanks mostly in part to the pandemic, it's remote enabled. And that hybrid nature of the workplace really extends connectivity beyond the realm of the traditional perimeter security model. Every home office, it's now a branch of the corporate office that the company has to secure, and that's difficult. The second thing I'll say is that a rather obvious truth is that ransomware is lucrative. Cyber attacks work. They're increasing in frequency as a result, sophistication, and they damage more. And the other piece of that is, as a result of that, threat actors have matured, and not in a good way. A lot of them are state-sponsored, particularly in areas of Asia and Eastern Europe, and they are rationalizing a business model that really impacts, obviously, the corporate world. Third, and this is kind of the technical reality, the bitter technical reality, traditional network topologies are just vulnerable to cyber attack, period. We need to move forward onto something else.
What do you advise enterprise leaders to do?
Well, here's the thing. Pundits like me, we like to talk about doom and gloom, but there's hope. The problem isn't the security. The problem is the network architecture itself. We got to get away from it. It can't be suitably secured. And, I guess the way I kind of put it is the metaphorical house is on fire. The network as we know it has to go. Coupled with that is the fact that cybersecurity risk is now business risk. So business leaders, the whole C-suite, CEOs, boards of directors have a mandate now to really understand and strengthen their corporate cybersecurity risk posture, because it is a business issue. So to answer the question, my advice to them, number one, get rid of your network. Traditional network security creates a perimeter around systems, people, resources. That was a good model back decades ago when it was created, but it doesn't work anymore because the way of work has changed. How do you build a wall around a workspace that includes the open internet? You can't, is the answer. The benefit is its vulnerability. You connect to one machine, you can connect to all, and threat actors take advantage. I recommend enterprises look at what's called a cloud-based zero trust architecture platform. That's a complicated way to describe a cybersecurity solution that offers its cybersecurity protection delivered from the cloud edge. It aligns security with the modern methods of connectivity and a modern way of work. It's distributed, it's nearby, it's fast, it's more secure. Connectivity is direct and ephemeral. There's no permanence. There are no MPLS cables, no infrastructure lying around offering an inviting target for cyber attack. Nothing is visible to the outside world. It obscures IP addresses, for instance. And that's a big deal, because that, first of all, this direct connectivity means there isn't this extant network. And the obscuring the devices and systems means that you've reduced attackable surface of your enterprise. And that also limits blast radius. If somebody gets in and, God forbid, Toph clicks on a phishing link, only his machine is vulnerable, and that limits the damage substantially, and takes away that ransomware business model. There are lots of other benefits. I won't go into all the details, but obviously your connectivity is going to improve, your costs are going to go down, and of course you're going to enjoy, as an enterprise, much better security.
Yeah, I mean, Toph, when you think about nefarious actors, and it really is mind-blowing when you think about it, that they have unlimited funds because they are being funded by nation states, but it's really mind-blowing how they are acting as businesses, as sophisticated as the enterprises that you're looking to protect. So where do you see the cybersecurity market headed?
Well, I think I am a little bit biased towards a cloud zero trust architecture model, and I see the industry heading that way. It is moving, in simpler terms, it's moving from a product focus to a services focus, because that services approach, ideally cloud delivered, works, and it's affordable, and it's blocking threats. You mentioned the nefarious actions of these threat actors. They've got a business model. They're moving, ironically, they started where the money is at the top of the enterprise pyramid. They're moving down. They are creating, there's a ransomware as a service model that is terrifying. Big actors create this, they put their code out there and basically license it to smaller actors that want to be APT groups as a service. And so the smaller wannabes can attack smaller companies. That's terrifying. So we're seeing a shift in response, in part to that, towards a better services model. I expect the market for cybersecurity services, particularly cloud ZTA types platforms, to grow substantially in the next 5 to 6 years, maybe almost at a 20 to 40% annual rate. Eventually, that growth will cool off as the platforms the security services commoditize and we see further consolidation. The two or three things are kind of driving that. The main one is that enterprise customers don't want point solutions anymore. They really want a platform solution, and part of it is something as simple as just dealing with fewer vendors. As a result of that, I expect to see quite a bit of M&A activity in the space in the next several years, as the small providers join up with the big ones, and the big ones look to kind of fill holes in their portfolio by acquiring those small ones.
Toph, it's interesting. Every expert, such as yourself, that I've had on the show for October Cybersecurity Awareness Month, has consistently said that there is no drop in spending as we go through the macro headwinds when it comes to cybersecurity. But as with virtually every sector within the market, tech has taken a beating. So what do you advise investors looking at the cybersecurity space, certainly with a longer term time horizon?
Yeah, well, so here's the thing. There's a reality about cybersecurity investment and spend. There is an illusion that the more money you spend, the more secure you'll be. But particularly if you are trying to secure legacy infrastructure, you're still going to be vulnerable. You can continue to stack appliances at your castle gate, but let me put it a different way. You can add more locks to your front door, but it's not going to help if your windows are still open. Getting away from metaphors, I look at a couple of, so first of all, I'm not a financial analyst, so I would advise anyone looking to invest to talk to a financial expert. But here are some of the criteria that I look at in evaluating a company in the cybersecurity space, particularly in cybersecurity cloud delivered services. A few financial metrics that are important to me, just even as a non-financial analyst. Things like recurring subscription revenue. That's true of any as a service offering. Sell-in growth. Are they able to continue to offer more services that their customers are willing to, you want someone paying X amount of money a month for as long as you can, but can you raise that a little bit? Can you get a few more dollars out of that? Are you able to offer value-added services to grow within your existing customer base? Perhaps most importantly, look at churn. What are switching costs for these services? They're obviously going to be lower than if you're switching from hardware to switching between cloud services, but the ones that are winning are the ones with high renewal rates and low attrition rates. Getting to the things that I know a little bit more about, security. You gotta look at solutions that offer great security. How good is their security operations center that you're basically outsourcing to their SOC? How good is their threat intelligence? What are their sources from? Where are they getting their threat intelligence sources from to protect the world, so to speak? What are their threat response times? Interestingly, one of the great benefits to a cloud delivered zero trust architecture solution is that problems can be identified, blocked, and then remediated within minutes. Contrast that with a traditional model where you're patching every branch office, and that can take weeks. And if there is a vulnerability, you're not going to be vulnerable for long, and it's going to be rolled out worldwide very quickly. Finally, a couple things on security. Can they handle encrypted stuff? Can the solution scale to size? Now, why that matters is that all the threats are going to start coming in encrypted form. You can't use a traditional approach to just looking at what it looks like and identifying the signature if it's encrypted. So you've got to have a cloud solution that can scale at the edge to decrypt, inspect, and re-encrypt in traffic delivery. That's a bit of a technical issue, but it's an important aspect as you evaluate these companies. Finally, look at performance of the service. What is the speed? How fast is the connectivity? This is a converged connectivity and security solution. Connectivity is what the workers care about. Security is what the leadership cares about. You've got to be able to let your people work with the fastest solution they can have. And that means a lot of on-ramps, maybe piggyback on Google or create your own data centers, but have a lot of them globally, and make sure that the security services are being processed at the cloud edge. Now, why that matters is that it'll operate faster. If you are backhauling traffic to, a distant server somewhere, it's going to slow down performance, and you're going to hear about that from your users. And the final thing I'll say, what's going to happen in the next couple of years? We're going to continue to see over the next 4 or 5 years, massive enterprise security transformations. All of these enterprises are shifting from the traditional model and getting to the cloud. And a lot of them have a lot of cloud unfriendly infrastructure. And so it's a huge adjustment and a huge transformation. The companies that are going to win in the cybersecurity space, particularly the zero trust architecture vendors, are the ones that are going to be best at kind of guiding these companies along in their security journey to a cloud secure future. Those are the companies that I think are really going to win.
All right, Toph, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.